Okay, well, women's wrestling, right? Um, uh, what? Wow. You're gonna have to excuse me. I did take a little bit of a break, but how do I even do this justice, man? Good grief. Like, why didn't we bring this show back sooner? Like trips, like WWE, let me, let me level with you real quick. Why didn't we bring this show back sooner? Who needs Saturday night's main event when you have this show? Shout out to NXT for Great American Bash, but who needs Saturday night's main event? Respect to Goldberg, happy retirement, but wow. Wow. And Naomi? I got my wish. I didn't predict it, but I got my wish. I'll tell you more about that later. Anyway, what's going on, guys? It is Kai the Casual here with Common Casual Wrestling, where we, of course, give you pro wrestling with none of the toxicity or tribalism. As you know, I already covered AEW All In. And this was the other big event of the weekend. And yeah, we had NXT's Great American Bash and Saturday Night's Main Event on Saturday. But this. Goldberg who? Okay. No more Goldberg shade. Again, happy retirement. We will talk about you in your own video after we review Saturday Night's Main Event and the Great American Bash. R&Rs for those videos will be coming soon. I would like to have those out Monday. If not, it is okay. We will get to those before the end of this week. But I hope you guys are enjoying the content. I hope listening to me rattle off about my enjoyment of pro wrestling is helpful to you and gets you into it. That's why we're here. And the ladies, the women of WWE represented through all three brands, Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. I'm blown away. There's, obviously, I do have some fair criticisms of the show, of course. So let's just get the big one out of the way, that this show was the last out of 5 big events this weekend. 4 if you only count AEW and WWE. Ring of Honor is, yes, owned by AEW, but technically different branding. Just under the same umbrella. Similar to NXT at this point, but different system. Anyway, getting too off track here. And this was a great way to close out an exciting wrestling weekend. I will leave the comparisons of AEW and WWE to rant content. Again, there's no tribalism here. There's something to appreciate about either show. But they stood tall tonight. The biggest criticism is going to be that WWE is oversaturated, that there's way too many shows. But we all knew we were going to get great matches on this card. They showed up and stood tall amongst all of the wrestling events this weekend. And I am neither an AEW shill or a WWE shill. I just love pro wrestling. I love it. And there's so much to love about this show. So I'm going to get to the results and respond to, of course, my predictions, me and Wifey's predictions. I got to watch this event with her and just see her enjoying, the women alongside me. It was awesome. Whew, that main event. we'll touch on the main event. That just chef's kiss. First up, we are going to rate and react to the triple threat IC title match featuring Bayley, Lyra Valkyria, and Becky Lynch, who holds the title. And I did predict this one right. Becky Lynch did retain the title, but something about women's triple threat matches in WWE. This reminded me of the WrestleMania match with Rhea, Io, and Bianca. Like, this was near a 5, no stars here, titles. This is near a 5 title match for me. Close, not just there yet. So in my book, this was a 4.5, so 4 belts and a tag team belt. But I really enjoyed the back and forth nonstop action. It's something about triple threats. There's always somebody to hit. Always somebody to hit. And of course, our slinky heel Becky Lynch got a surprise roll-up pin to get out of Dodge between 2 people that have been hunting her head because of the way she has done them. But this entire match, I'm going to be saying all throughout this video, because my goal is to enjoy pro wrestling with you and give you something to enjoy. So as much as I'm going to say that all of these events this weekend are worth the watch, go watch these ladies. This opening match was a perfect opener, and I love the fact that Bayley got to have that moment at the beginning of the match where the crowd's cheering. And instead of doing like the typical like stare down thing, well, they stare down for a little bit, but instead of doing that, Bayley freely moves around the ring, just going like, yeah, let's go, let's go. I love it when like people just like amp up the energy, because the energy is already there, but you gotta love it when like there's this unification between what's going on in ring and, you know, how we in the stands react to it. So I loved it. I was cheering and clapping from home. I love watching this match. A lot of great near falls, a lot of great drama, a lot of great action. Go watch this match. But anyway, next up, we had the NXT Women's title on the line. Can we talk about NXT just a quick second with just this one sentence? NXT is the third brand. We'll make a video about that one day. But moving on. JC Jane, accompanied by Jasmine Nix and Fallon Henley. Fatal. Not Attraction. Wade Barrett. Fatal Influence. You know, the group probably could have been called Fatal Attraction and it probably would have worked. Anyway, Fatal Influence was great tonight. And JC Jane gets this criticism of like she is the most beatable champion in NXT. And this lady just proved everybody wrong. I enjoyed watching her and I enjoyed watching Jordynne Grace. I followed Jordynne Grace like since she started making a big name for herself in TNA, back when it was still called Impact, and back into TNA, and as well as she worked during this match, big power moves, a couple of unique power moves actually. Like you gotta love seeing unique moves, and when women are given the time and the creativity to say, okay, hey, let's do this. There's some very interesting things that they can do. I am not sure what the move was called. Like, it's not something I've seen done before, so I wouldn't know what to call it. But it was a unique slam from Jordynne Grace I really enjoyed. Of course, Fatal Influence get involved. Blake Monroe accompanied our good friend Jordynne Grace to the ring and also fought them off a little bit, but in a shock twist, which wasn't very shocking to a lot of people on the internet who keep up with this stuff and know that Blake Monroe was formerly Mariah May in AEW and was a heel. She turned on her former partner the night before on Great American Bash, Jordynne Grace, and said, nope, I'm in this for myself. So after she fights off Fatal Influence, she grabs the women's title belt, the NXT women's title belt, and hits Jordynne in the back after she was tossed into the ropes, or tries to go, she bounces off the ropes. She wasn't tossed into the ropes, and then Jacy Jayne capitalizes on that, hits her with a knee, and 1, 2, 3, Jacy Jayne retains. But despite this angle happening, I do want to stress Jacy Jayne can perform. She can be a character. She can wrestle. And I am so glad that she got to show that tonight. I really do think about these people as real people. They're not just stars and celebrities. I think of them as real people. And to get called the most beatable champion, to have everybody be surprised that you beat this big indie darling into WWE sensation Stephanie Becker, I felt for her. I was like, it's gonna be cool for you when you prove yourself to these crowds and to the fans. And I think beating somebody of Jordynne Grace's caliber did that for her. And the heel turn from Blake Monroe was played very perfectly. They played the moment from the night before. He's like, I would, love for you to accompany to the ring and have my back. And Blake Monroe agrees. But it looks like she looks like a little extra long as Jordynne leaves. And they played off of that here. Blake puts the title back into Jordynne's back and costs her the match. Then gives the belt to Fatal Influence. And as she gives it back, she looks back at him and goes, so she's not with Fatal Influence. She's not with Jordynne. She's on her own, and she is here to prove she is out for herself. Can't wait for NXT. Can't wait to see where the future goes for that. But let's move on once again to the next match. Let's rate. Really did like the drama in this match, the interference, and the backup spots for Blake as a babyface for just a split second. But I'll give this a 4. It was a great match. Well acted out in the interference with Blake Monroe. Great heel turn. Not much else you can say about that. Just great heel turn. Sticking at a 4 though. I don't want to go any higher than that. Just wasn't perfect to me. I want to save those 5 spots for perfect. But I am very happy to see Jacy Jayne win. I was correct in my prediction. Let's go. I believe Wifey's Chat GPT said Jordynne was going to win. Nope. But I do think we might see Masha Slamovich and Jordynne Grace maybe in NXT. I don't know how much longer Masha Slamovich is going to be with TNA. I need to look into contract situations, but can't wait for the future of that. Next up, I believe we had Trish Stratus challenging Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's title belt. And this was another thank you Trish moment. So one thing I like about WWE is that they, for the most part, they really do acknowledge the past, the present, and the future. That's their whole MO when it comes to having people that you would think don't belong in the ring anymore come back. But Trish has shown us in the past that she's still got it. We love to chant it. You still got it. You still got it. Anyway, Trish Trish was great in this, and you can tell that there are certain things, um, you know, I'll say it in the pace that they might have to take their time with Trish a little bit, but she can still work without question. And to me, I gave this match a 3.5, 3 belts in a tag team belt. Mostly for goodwill. Because of course, Trish comes from that era of WWE that they had to deal with a lot. And of course she wasn't winning the belt here. But it is still considered an honor to take on a Hall of Famer, a legend of Trish's caliber. And, Tiffany Stratton gets to cement herself even more. So, I did predict Tiffany to win, and this one was a 3.5 for me. Go watch it. I did particularly I want to highlight this, how they did. Lita was not on this show, but they have acknowledged that, Trish and Lita are friends. Trish surprised me with this one. And she brought out her typical offense, but she busted out a moonsault, which I either didn't know she could do or forgot that she could do. I was impressed. She missed it. Wasn't meant to be. And then Tiffany countered with the prettiest moonsault ever. So, you love to see it. Let's move on. Next up, this was the match me and wifey were very excited to see because we love supporting our black women. We had Naomi versus Jade Cargill featuring Bianca Belair as the special guest referee. And I loved it. I think this is a good way. I know people have been criticizing Jade Cargill's wrestling ability, but in stipulation matches like this is a good way to disguise, some of her limitations. I really do think the way you deal with her is either do that or you, I don't know, let her spend some time in NXT, give her some more training. But she can wrestle. I am not jaded to think that Jade can't wrestle. And this was a good match, A little bit of hardcore action going on. We had tables. We had chairs. We had kendo sticks. And a really nice, unique spot happened where Jade was laying on the ground next to the announce table, and Naomi just drop kicks her head into the TV. Was it a TV or a LED board? I'm pretty sure it's more of an LED board situation, but you could see the smoke come off of it, and I thought it was a really unique and cool spot. I love it when they do something we haven't seen before. Loved it. And I want to give them all the credit for that. Jade for taking that bump, Naomi for performing it well, and Bianca. Bianca did add something to this match as well with the whole drama that they've had. One thing that was a bit odd about it at first, which I think Bianca's acting is awesome, and I really love to see it. At first, it was kind of weird because she was it looked like she was checking on Naomi at one point when they were outside of the ring. And they were she was checking on Naomi, she was checking on Jade. And it was okay, she's acting like they're still friends. But she kind of disowned Naomi as a friend after, she attacked Jade and whatever. So that was a bit confusing. But maybe it was just to show that deep down, Bianca still cares about the both of them and their well-being as they brutalize each other through this match. At some point, the bridge of her nose starts bleeding. And I'm not entirely sure at what point that happened. Maybe I'll have to rewatch the match. But the conclusion of this match was the highlight. There was a table set up in the ring, and Jade positions Naomi and Jaded And I was scared for the both of them. I'm like, oh my goodness, hope they don't get hurt on this spot. But they pulled it off. We had an avalanche jaded through the table. Naomi goes face first. 1, 2, 3, Jade wins. I got the pick right. Let's go. The drama and the hardcore action, I do believe, elevated this match from my early thoughts of 3.5 to a full 4 titles. I'll give them that because I really enjoy when, people work this style. I'm not really big on deathmatch wrestling, but a good hardcore match, we can do a good hardcore match. Gotta love it. And we're not done with Naomi for the night. Anyway, next up, we had the Evolution Women's Battle Royal. And I gotta say one little note about this. Ads in WWE don't get on my nerves as much as the next person, but I really thought we would see every woman's entrance in this. I really think, this is the match that, of course, they put people's, when you have a big event like this, and especially, okay, not every woman is going to have a one-on-one or triple threat anything. There's only so many titles to defend. You want to make sure everybody gets a spot on this show, within reason, of course. I think there was 20 women in the Battle Royal. And, Nikki Bella comes out first. Stephanie Becker and Julia come out last, from my recollection. And we did see some of the entrances, but we cut to commercial in the middle of the entrances. I wish we didn't have to cut to commercial. I wish we could have seen every lady come out and get their due. Some of these theme songs nowadays aren't as recognizable, and that really helps you recognize the person. That helps you identify with your fan fave. I wish people had gotten that time to look at the other people who weren't like top contenders in this match and say, hey, I like this person. Let me rock with this person. But I had picked Julia to win, and I had a foolish moment. I already put in the description of the predictions video for the show. But I had picked, okay, so Julia was not defending her U.S. title on this show. And she was another body for the Women's Battle Royale. So, I said foolishly that, she's half French. Maybe they'll have her go to Paris, Clash in Paris. That PLE is what they're fighting for. They're fighting for a spot to have a title match at that show. And foolishly, I said she's half French. She is half Italian, English-born, half Japanese, half Italian. So my apologies. I was wrestling with that thought during the video. I could not remember if Arrivederci is French or Italian. It is Italian. Anyway. However, Julia did not get it. And we got a lot of matches in this. Again, we'll criticize the build to this event for a while. But again, hardcore criticisms aren't necessarily what my channel is for. I do have them, and I will be honest about my criticisms. But we do get to see references to things that have happened on TV, like Zelina Vega getting her one back on Julia for taking that title from her. So that was cool to see. Nia Jax came through looking like a beast, starting off the match with the first few eliminations. And what was a real treat to see for me, right? We had representation from Raw, from SmackDown, from NXT. And, Lola Vice gets to have a little, hip shake moment with, Nikki Bella, So that was nice to see it as well. But she wasn't the only NXT girl that got a bit of shine. Lash Legend got to be in the final two with Stephanie Vaquer. Now, as I mentioned before, Julia got taken out, so my pick didn't win. This was the only match tonight that I did not pick correctly for. Okay, I didn't pick the main event either. And technically I missed out on the extra point too, which we will get to. But to wrap this up, it's a battle royale, so everybody got to have a moment at some point in the match. There was a funny little spot with Maxine Dupree and Natalia and doing the worm. So hey, shout out to Scotty Too Hottie. But back to what I was talking about. Last Legend was in the final two with Stephanie Vaquer. And man, does that just not put NXT over the moon for me. Yes, Stephanie is on the main roster now, but she's not so far removed from NXT where we can't celebrate NXT in this moment. NXT has built stars from the black and gold days, and I gotta love it. I love seeing, this developing new star, Last Legend, get her moment. And just what a treat it is. She gets to show off the muscle. She gets to show off. She deadlifts Nia Jax and gets to team up moment with Stephanie Vaquer to take her out. But unfortunately, she does not get the win. One of the top two picks of the match for, the entire internet. Everybody was picking either Stephanie Vaquer or Nikki Bella. And hey, no shame there. They want to strap the rocket to Stephanie Vaquer. I have no problem with that. Love it for her. And of course, she got to hit the Devil's Kiss after Chelsea Green interrupted Devil's Kiss earlier. But of course, we get our during the match. We got to have some fun. But then the match concludes on the apron. Both women are struggling to stay inside. But Stephanie gets in position for Devil's Kiss on the outside and lets Lash Legend fall to the floor. Your winner is Stephanie Vaquer. And I give this match 3.5. 3 titles and a tag team belt. I don't want to give it a full 4. I wasn't blown away. Again, I want to save those snap moments for the upper 4, 4.5, and 5 matches. Again, I'm not a hardcore critic, but it's a fun match. And so I have a bit of extra goodwill. That's why we're adding the half to it as well. But of course, we've got to talk. And I'm going to spoil my rating now. My pick, of course, was Rhea Ripley. But I'm rating this match. Count them 5. 5 title belts for the main event of Io Sky defending her belt against Rhea Bloody Ripley. We love both of these amazing babyface women. Back and forth action the entire time. I have no notes. They gave us everything. In ring and out of the ring. There's a ref bump in this match of Io hitting a missile drop kick on the ref, and then this turns into a false count everywhere. They start brawling into the crowd, and in a crazy moment, we hit an over or not over the moonsault, but Io hits a dive jumps straight off of some gear in the crowd. Some stacked boxes, and dives onto Rhea Ripley, and the crowd is just going crazy for Io. And they're going crazy for Rhea. Rhea does act a bit heelish in this match, just a tiny bit, not as bad as the past time during WrestleMania season, but she lets Io have it. And at multiple points during this match, you think, they are not going to kick out of this. And they kick out. Oh my gosh, the matches this weekend. We're going to be talking about this match and other matches from this weekend as well. But I give it 5 titles. Both ladies end up back into the ring, desperate, panting, catching their breath because they've thrown everything in the kitchen sink when Naomi's music hits. She gives the briefcase to the referee, and Alicia Taylor announces that Naomi is cashing in. Naomi hits a split leg moonsault on Io Sky. 1, 2, 3. I mark out like crazy, probably disturbed my neighbors. Naomi is your new World Women's Champion, and I could not be more happy for this queen to get her due. Good Lord, I marked out for this. Go check the Instagram and Facebook pages. I marked out like crazy. Man. Also pray that WWE doesn't copyright the video because I pointed my camera straight at the TV. Did not point it at myself at all. But yeah, guys, I was blown away by this match. And what a crescendo to... I thought they were going to wait till SummerSlam. I thought SummerSlam was the big stage for this. No, this was the big stage for the ladies. They got their due tonight. They got the time that they needed for each match. And I am so happy for them that they got this. As far as will we get this again in the future, we don't know. I stuck around for the post-event press conference. We got kind of a we'll see answer from Triple H, but I implore you, Triple H, WWE, TKO, if no other time during the year that you let these ladies shine, let them have their event. Just do it. Because this was so much worth it. I would love for an event of this caliber to come to the East Coast so I could bring my wife. And for some reason, if I have a daughter in the future, I would love for her in the future to be front and center for one of these shows. Because what an inspiration it has to be for the ladies of pro wrestling worldwide, not just in WWE, but worldwide, to get their own event after, good Lord, what they used to suffer through in the 90s and early 2000s. And even during the Divas era, you know. And the Divas era was really just about actually wrestling and not getting their time. And then the degrading stuff they did before the Divas era. But to see them get their just due tonight and have all these women acknowledged tonight from the legends, you know, Vicky Guerrero returned tonight. Molly Holly was there. Melina was in the crowd. They even acknowledged Mark Henry for his support of women's wrestling worldwide. So that was a nice treat. And we had Stephanie McMahon, you know, host during the whole night. They deserve this spot. They deserve this to be an annual event. That's just my opinion. But I'm going to keep it casual. We'll probably get more into hardcore opinions in our rant content to come. I think we're going to be doing talks. Whoa. No edits. Yeah, we're going to leave hardcore opinions for our rant content. But I am super glad that I got to see this event. I am glad that they finally brought this event back after 7 years. That ending blew me away, though. And I was very excited for the opening. I was very excited throughout the whole show. They deserve this. Keep it going. Anyway, I think that's all I got for you guys. Shout out to Rhea Ripley. Shout out to Io Sky. Shout out to Naomi. And shout out to every woman on this show. And shout out to my wonderful, beautiful, amazing wifey. Wifey the Casual will be back. Hopefully predicting other things with me. I'm glad I got to celebrate her while celebrating women's wrestling in the previous video. She is sound asleep while I'm recording this because it's been a long day. But to my amazing wife, thank you for your contribution and your inspiration to me for starting your YouTube journey first and then letting me use this camera to appreciate wrestling and women's pro wrestling. I gotta love and honor you because I love you. And women make this world go around, and I'm glad we got to take the time today to honor women's wrestling and women in general. It might be time for your boy to finally get you some sleep. Keep an eye out for the R&R videos coming out this week for Great American Bash, for NXT, and for Saturday night's main event. And they're taking their sweet time uploading, but I have already recorded and uploaded part 1 and 2 because what a show All In was for AEW. But hey, guys, that's enough from me. I'm sure you're done listening to me talk. This has gone on for a long time, but these women deserve this time. So, you know what the deal is. Like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell notification, and of course, you know what the deal is.